Look, she shows no fear. She has that toughness to run this Duke Blue Devil team.
They will need her to be very sound against what is a fantastic Louisville defense. And the Cardinals will get the ball first. Chelsea Hall, number 23 in white, running things for the Cardinals.
And you see Duke, they're going to start out in a zone, a matchup zone right now. They've got to keep the ball out of the paint. Keep Louisville, make them take outside shots, and then they got to box out, got to rebound.
Kiana Smith swings it over to Haley Van Lith, 6 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Duke's starting five. It's been tough because they've had so many players out and it's stretched over several games. They have used 6 different starting lineups in 8 ACC games this year. Chelsea Hall at the finish.
Yeah, we talked to Carol Lawson this morning, and she wasn't making excuses, but look, when you have a lineup change and you have a freshman point guard, that's a lot for her to adjust to on the fly. You don't know who's going to be on the court from one game to the next.
There's Lexi Gordon, the handoff to Cheyenne Day Wilson, number 30 in the black jersey. And there's going to be a foul down low on Olivia Cochran. That will be her first.
It's going to be important for Louisville to keep her on the floor. She attracts so much attention inside. That's the last thing that Duke wanted to do, turn the ball over, because this plays in the hands of Louisville. They like to run.
On the opposite side, Louisville's had consistency in their starting lineup. Here's Olivia Cochran just splitting the double team. That's why you want her on the floor.
No question. That makes a point of why she's got to be smart now. After picking up that one foul, they need her because she can get it done offensively in the paint.
Elizabeth Balagoon has the basketball. The Louisville transfer now in a Duke uniform. Emily Ingsler, the behind-the-back dribble, bringing the ball up the floor. Kiana Smith driving. Cochran giving them second life. Her value just keeps increasing.
She's so strong, and it's all in her base.
Going to the line!
Olivia Cochran's mother, she played at Auburn. Her father played NFL football. Look at that base, that strength that she has. Jeff Wall said, he told her the other day, it's all in your DNA with the power that you play with.
Anome Akinbadi James was called for her first foul. It puts Olivia Cochran at the free throw line. She was number 18 overall coming out of high school, a McDonald's All-American. Now in her sophomore season, averaging 8.6 points per game, and she's got a 3-point play. Blue Devils still looking for their first points. Jade Williams. That's 2 on Cochran.
Yeah, you see Jeff Walls. Immediately, he's got to go to his bench.
Now, Beth Cunningham is over on the Duke Blue Devils bench. She had the scout today, so she is going to be the acting head coach. Unavailable, Coach Lawson. Giselle Havas is out due to health and safety protocols. Along with the injuries, they have Celeste Taylor and then Nia Green unavailable due to a violation of team rules.
Well, Carol Lawson has, if you may say, the luxury of, if she has to be out, she's got a lot of experience on her bench with Beth Cunningham, having been a head coach at VCU, and then she also has Tia Jackson, who was the head coach at Washington University.
Yeah, we saw
University of Washington.
We saw Winston Gandy, who's one of their other assistants. He had the scout on Thursday and was the acting head coach in their loss to North Carolina. Kiana Smith from deep. Rebound by Jade Williams. Balagoon, the step back. She's used to playing in this gym. Played 2 seasons for Jeff Walls. Started her career at Georgia Tech.
And I think that she's playing her most efficient basketball in Carol Lawson's system at Duke.
Ingsler, we told you she's a deep threat. They're okay with that shot. Stolen away by Emily Ingsler, who leads the conference in ACC play in steals per game. And Ingsler down on the floor, but she is up. Jeff Walz has talked consistently about her toughness.
And she replaced this young woman right here who played last season at Louisville, Elizabeth Balagoon. That is a beautiful step back. Make the defense think you're going all the way to the basket and then retreat a little bit just to give yourself enough space.
Cheyenne Day Wilson did pick up her first foul on that last play. Ball to Liz Dixon. They'll swing it over to Smith.
Chelsea Hall's got to look for a shot. She's a point guard that transferred to Louisville from Vanderbilt, and I know firsthand Chelsea Hall is a scorer. She can. She's just, when you come into a new program, it's almost like you got to get permission. You got to settle in. But Jeff Walz pulled her in and said, listen, you have got to, one, talk more, and two, you got to shoot the ball.
Speak and shoot. Look, there was no question that Jeff Walz told us multiple times Chelsea Hall is a fantastic player. He wanted her a part of his program, her personality. They just got to get the best out of her, and Jeff Walz in his 15th season is sure to do that. Look, this defense he's put together, they are 8th in the nation, averaging, only giving up 51.6 points per game.
And they've got to defend without fouling.
Haley Van Lith crushed it. Haley Van Lith has been in double figures in 5 of their last 6 games.
Yeah, the last 4 games, she's averaged 15 points a game.
That leads the team over that stretch. Williams working on Ingsler.
I think the step back might be getting contagious. Watch Haley Van Lith. Well, that was just a 3. She was wide open underneath out of bounds. That's one player Duke cannot leave open.
Now, Haley Van Lith, a member of the ACC all-freshman team, was number 7 overall coming out of high school. She struggled to score early in the season, but it's been a different role.
Well, there's such a balance now. And 2, look, she's on the scouting report. Everybody's coming at her from what she did her freshman season.
Yeah, it's no secret what Haley Van Lith can do for this Louisville Cardinals team.
Now, she was the number 7 ranked recruit in the class of 2020. She played so well last year, all ACC in her first season.
Duke's going to keep this possession as Louisville's defense putting on the pressure. Mila Goodchild to DeJesus. Kiana Smith out with it. Ingsler. Too much. Off of the tip by Kiana Smith. Ingsler right down Main Street.
Look, she's got we talked about her instinct. She's got a knack of knowing where the ball is going to be, and she goes after it.
So Ingsler will get a break. A couple points for her in this game, and Peyton Verhulst will check in for Louisville, number 12 in white. Goodchild, rejected by Verhulst. Top of the key, Kiana Smith.
You know, if you're Jeff Walz, you started the season out, your defense was ahead of the curve, right? But it's this time of the season, you want your offense to catch up, and that's what's happening right now.
It's been so interesting because that defense has been consistent, but the offense, it's been who has been that one player that's going to step up every game. Lee Volker from range. That ends a 2+ minute scoring drought for Duke.
And Duke's having to get it done without Kara Lawson. She's the type of coach, she calls every play, right? And now you don't have her on the sideline.
Chelsea Hall's shot bumps over the basket, and we will step aside. When we come back, Peck's Picks. We're breaking down the top teams right now in women's college basketball.
Well, you know the reveal came out from the NCAA committee. Here are the top 4 teams in my book. You have Aaliyah Boston, who is leading the South Carolina Gamecocks, and then Elisa Cunane from NC State. Been dominant, a post player also that can play inside and out. And then a player that can play just about every position on the floor. Haley Jones for the Stanford Cardinal, and Emily Inksler. Look, have the Louisville Cardinal right now sitting as a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Now, Tennessee was in that group in the original reveal, but they lost on Thursday to Auburn, who has the worst record in the SEC.
But let me tell you about that win, Auburn over Tennessee. I was down at Auburn yesterday, and on Friday, I went to practice, and Coach Johnny Harris stopped by to say hello. And Bruce Pearl stopped practice, and the staff and the whole men's team gave Johnny Harris a round of applause
for that win.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome.
That's awesome for that big win over Tennessee. But that helped Louisville out. Haley Van Lith, no good on the shot. Rebound by Jade Williams. Cheyenne Day Wilson. The fadeaway, just short off the front of the iron.
And Day Wilson has been so good at creating her whole shot, but you can tell she's attracting a lot of attention from the Louisville defense.
Now, Jeff Walls and his crew have put together a nice resume. They're #4 in the net. Their non-conference strength of schedule, number 43. They're projected as a #1 seed right now.
Well, they started the season off playing the NCAA runner-up in Arizona, and up until the third quarter against NC State, their record would have been with only 1 loss. But that fourth quarter, NC State just started making shots and really made it difficult for Louisville to close that game out.
Yeah, Louisville turned the ball over too.
You're right.
It was tough. They do not play. There's a big 3 in the corner from Cheyenne Day Wilson. Louisville won't play NC State again in the regular season, but we probably will see them in the ACC tournament.
Did you see Cheyenne Day Wilson? She hit that 3.
Oh, yeah.
And the WNBA champion, Dana Evans, sitting down here. She gave her a little peek.
Oh,
yeah. She looked at her.
Liz Dixon inside Olivia Cochran on the bench for Louisville with 2 fouls. Mikasa Robinson coming off a season-high 9 points.
Everybody has to want a player like Mikasa Robinson on their team. She is willing to do whatever. You don't have to, she doesn't need a lot of shine. She just says, hey, give me the assignment, tell me what you need me to do, and I can take care of that.
Now, she has been a consistent factor for Louisville her whole career. Lexi Gordon with the 2.
Yeah, the transfers. Carol Lawson has done a terrific job of assembling talent to get Duke back in the conversation.
Haley Van Lith has got a couple of long balls.
You can see the confidence of Louisville offensively. They don't have to rely so much just on their defense. They've got very capable scorers, and right now everybody's in on the party.
Day Wilson cut to the basket, turnover by Duke, their 3rd.
You look at who has the assignment of guarding Cheyenne Day Wilson. It was Mikasa Robinson.
Of course. Van Lith. Woo! Haley Van Lith is 3 for 4 from deep. Louisville on top of Duke, 23-11. We step aside. Last 4 games, Haley Van Lith is averaging 15 points per game. She's got 9 here in the first quarter.
Look, she was only 1 for 3 in their last game against Florida State, but right now she's locked in. Radar dialed up, and look, she's like, you give me time, shoot it, knock it down from 3.
Under a minute to go in the first quarter. Louisville on top of Duke. The Cardinals have not lost a game at home this season. Goodchild back to Lexi Gordon. Just off to the left. Mila Goodchild with the extra hustle for the board. Lexi Gordon, you can't give her 2 looks at it.
Yeah, and she doesn't need to hesitate. If she gets a peek at the basket, she needs to let it go.
Gordon's got 5 points, averages 9 on the season. Liz Dixon, the step around. Louisville tacks on a couple more just before the horn sounds. The Cardinals have hit their last 4 shots.
And everybody is getting in on the action. Liz Dixon with the up and under. The nice finish. The Louisville Cardinals, they're in control.
But Louisville on top of Duke 25-14 after 10 minutes. And there's a 2-time ACC Player of the Year in the front row watching this one. Dana Evans, who was the number 13 overall pick in the WNBA draft and won a WNBA championship last season.
Oh, yeah, with the Chicago Sky. In her last season here at Louisville, she was a player that could go get buckets. I asked Jeff Walls, what was the difference in coaching a team where you had a player like that versus a team this year that has the balanced scoring? And he said, oh, it's a real different. You know, when you have that player that the opponents have to focus on, it opens up everybody else. Now this year, Louisville's opponents have to worry about everybody on the court.
Yeah, and their defense has been their calling card. You see their ACC ranks, although the offense shown up today. You're going to count that bucket by Peyton Verhulst.
Look, Louisville said, defense what? We can score it too.
Yeah, their defense is pretty good, though. 8th in the nation, holding opponents to 51.6 points per game.
And they're willing to share the basketball.
Yeah.
They move the ball very well to not find just a good shot, but a great shot.
I thought watching them on film, it was really fun to watch their ball movement. That was one of the most things. I know their defense is great, but their ball movement was so impressive. Liz Dixon picks up her first foul for Louisville. That's a foul on Alana Smith, her first. Duke playing without head coach Carol Lawson. She is out due to health and safety protocols for a second straight game. Giselle Havas is also unavailable due to health and safety protocols.
But Carol Lawson is locked in. She said she tunes in with the team pregame. She has a Zoom with her coaching staff. She'll talk to them at halftime, and she's real pleased with the progress of Cheyenne Day-Wilson, the freshman point guard.
It's not easy to come into college basketball in general, let alone be the starting point guard, and she's stepped into that starting role since Celeste Taylor went down with an injury against Syracuse.
Well, and you playing for a point guard that was one of the best at Tennessee.
She just got rejected. Inksler running the floor like a champ. 4 points for Emily Inksler.
Yeah, she looks like she's been at Louisville her whole career. She fits right into their style.
Day-Wilson popping the 3. Volker gets it back.
And Lexi Gordon, she's got to look to score, looking to pass. She averaged almost 16 points a game at Texas Tech.
Peyton Verhulst. Look, Jeff Walls in practice yesterday, he told me I've got to play Peyton Verhulst more. She's had some big buckets.
Hey, that'll make you a good coach when you have that kind of recognition.
32-16 is your score. Louisville leading. Monica, thank you. Louisville getting production from everyone. You heard her say it. 5 3-pointers in this game. The Cardinals shooting almost 60% from the field.
Well, they share the basketball like Rebecca Lobo talked about. In ACC play, averaging about 16 assists per game.
Bucket missed, and here comes Inksler. Up ahead to Alana Smith. Mikasa Robinson, okay, all right.
Okay, that's a hockey assist because Emily Angsler passed up a shot and then she could have had the shot. That would have been the assist, but it was then the next pass to Williams to have that drive to the basket.
And Mikasa Robinson is such a big part of this team. Not known for her offense, but she doesn't have to bring that. That's not her role.
Well, the biggest threat on the floor right now, other than Cheyenne Day-Wilson, is Lexi Gordon, and that's who Mike Robinson has. But look, that was a shot, but no. Angsler passes that up and then finds Robinson on the drive.
Mikasa Robinson with 4 points.
You know, to be a successful team in assists is before you catch the ball, you got to know where you're going with it, not catch it and then figure it out. It's too late then. It allows the defense to shift. And you see Jeff Wallace, he's talking about, you know, when it comes to you, shoot the ball. Sometimes you can be a little too unselfish.
It's a 6-0 Louisville run. Duke hasn't scored in over 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Day-Wilson, a wide open Mila Goodchild. And last touch by Williams.
Now that was good execution by Duke. They got the shot that they wanted. So now you're finding ways to play against the aggressive defense of Louisville. Now you just got to knock down the shot.
Remember, this Louisville team, 8th in the nation, only allowing 51.6 points per game. Alana Smith, she does take this shot. Day-Wilson the floater. Angsler, rebound. Lost the basketball, got it back. Mikasa Robinson with it. And overthrows Alana Smith. Want to remind you, here's our Big Monday doubleheader. 2 of the top teams in the ACC get us started. Palo Lucaro at number 9 Duke take on Notre Dame at 7 Eastern. And then it's a Big 12 battle between number 4 Baylor and West Virginia. Both games right here on ESPN and the ESPN app. Wow, it was Alabama taking down Baylor yesterday, and Coleman Coliseum was packed.
Well, yeah, when you have, for Alabama, you've got Jaden Shackelford, he had 20, and Javon Quinterly, 20 points. When those two are on the same night, Alabama is tough to beat.
And that was the first non-conference loss for Baylor since November of 2019.
You have Auburn still sitting at number 1. Everybody, that's like the worst position to be in men's basketball because everybody's gunning for you. Bruce Pearl talked about everybody brings their best game.
Okay, but you want to be number 1.
No, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want to be number 2, so you got something to play for. You got to play with a little chip on your shoulder.
All right, I get that. Kiana Smith. Van Lith's shot is short, gets her own rebound. Chelsea Hall, baseline. They need her to score more.
Then she's got to look for a shot. Earlier in the season, if Chelsea Hall had gotten the ball right there, she may be looking to make the extra pass. Ain't nobody going to get a better shot than that. She's got to pull the trigger.
It's an 8-0 run now for the Cardinals. Day-Wilson in all kinds of traffic. And that's on Emily Angsler, her second. They already have Olivia Cochran on the bench with 2 fouls. So Angsler will come out. Peyton Verholst will check back in.
It's fun to watch Jeff Wallace communicate with his players on the court. He's talking to Emily Angsler. I mean, and these are players that don't back down. Now, I don't mean that they're being disrespectful, but he listens.
Yeah.
If they see something a little different than what he's saying, he'll listen, but more times than not, the coach is right. But he'll allow you to explain your case so that he sees what you see, and then he can explain to you what he needs you to do different.
Ingsler with 4 points, but she has affected this game much more than just those 4 points on the scoreboard.
And I was looking, I thought, I mean, she only is listed at 4 rebounds, but it seemed like every time Louisville came down with a rebound, it was Ingsler.
Yeah, or she got a deflection or something happened. Duke hasn't scored in 5 minutes. No field goals, at least. Kiana Smith called for her second. So Kiana Smith, Emily Ingsler, and Olivia Cochran all have 2 fouls right now for Louisville.
Well, you said you went to practice and they were focusing on not fouling. And if you fouled,
yeah,
he blew the whistle.
Yeah, and they have been for several days. It's something that really paid off in their win over Florida State. If you fouled in practice, they stopped, they pulled you out, and you were running on the sideline.
Well, that'd make me keep my hands to myself.
Yeah. Travel on Chelsea Hall.
Just the defense. When it's so aggressive, the best thing you can do offensively is attack pressure.
And Vanessa DeJesus, that bucket ended a 5+ minute drought without any field goals, and now she'll try the 3. Giving a little life to Duke.
DeJesus is that kind of threat of shoot the 3 and take you off the bounce. So if Dane Wilson will attract the defense in, and then the kick out for the shots for Duke.
Chelsea Hall.
That's why Jeff Walls wants her to shoot the basketball. She was able to do that at Vanderbilt, though she wasn't called on as much, but Jeff Walls has given Chelsea Hall the green light to shoot the basketball.
Yeah, her last full season played was 2 years ago, because remember, Vandy opted out last season, but she averaged 10 points per game that last full season for the Commodores. Up and in for Duke, Akinbadi James.
Yeah, Mila Goodchild, I thought she might have taken a dribble one too many because Akinbadi James had the position, but she was able to get it there.
Uh-oh, Chelsea Hall open again. Just short. Russell was trying to help her, and it gets the ball back to Louisville.
Look, you're not going to out-jump Louisville. You got to put a body, all 5, against the zone. You can't just box out, or you can't rebound in an area. You got to find somebody to put a body on.
Alana Smith. That's 7 made threes for the Cardinals.
Defense? Cardinals? What?
Shooting the 3.
Shoot the ball. Put it up.
Offensive foul on Day Wilson. Here's our NBA Wednesday doubleheader on ESPN and the app. Ja Morant and the Grizzlies play the second game of a 3-game road trip at Madison Square Garden against Julius Randle and the Knicks at 7:30 Eastern. Then a great Western Conference matchup. The Nuggets finish off a 6-game road trip in Utah against Rudy Gobert and the Jazz. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern.
It's amazing that Ja Morant was barely recruited to go to college and the impact that he is making on the WNBA. And that young man, he can fly. He can
on
play.
The NBA.
Oh, absolutely. He can fly. He can play up around the rim.
Yeah, 6 straight 30-point games, the longest streak in Grizzlies history for Ja Morant.
Little backstory. James Cain was a practice player for me at Florida. And then when he went to, when he was at Murray State, that is where he was recruiting and found Ja Morant he was going for a bag of chips. He was out on the road recruiting and heard the basketball bouncing, and that's where he located Ja Morant. And because James was the first one to see him,
wow,
that's how he got signed.
Heck, that's a heck of a story.
You know, that's what I do.
10 seconds on the shot clock for Louisville. Offensive foul on Chelsea Hall as Vanessa De Jesus playing some tough defense.
Yeah, that's tremendous D. De Jesus just continued to have her feet moving, was able to get to the spot before Hall and draw the charge.
Last few minutes, De Jesus is doing everything she can to help right the ship for Duke. She's had some big buckets and that taking a charge there. Balagoon shot won't go. Haley Van Lith on the move. Verhulst! She has blasted into this game. 8 points, 3 for 3 from the field. Jane Williams, by herself under the basket.
And that's normally where Duke is so good, off ball screen or two-man action.
And that's going to be well short for Verhulst. But Louisville, 20-plus points in both quarters. Haley Van Lith with 9 points. 3 long balls to help Louisville lead at the half, 45-27. Let's get you to the studio. They're undefeated this season.
Yeah, they've done it 6 times, and they are 6-0. And I went back and looked at last year's stats. Now, Dana Evans is here. She was averaging 20 points a game and then had 2 more in double figures. This year, they've got 3 players in double figures, but then everybody else just sprinkles a little bit in. But when their number's called, they're ready to ring the bell.
Yeah, Peyton Verhulst is a great example. She has come in this game off the bench with 8 points for Louisville today. Meanwhile, Duke, it's not like they're shooting terribly. They're shooting 43% from the field. Cheyenne Day Wilson has 7 points to lead Duke right now, who is without Carol Lawson for a 2nd straight game due to health and safety protocols. But Louisville's defense is tough.
They need to get Mila Goodchild involved in the offense. Duke does.
Now she has no points, 0 for 2 from the field.
And Lexi Gordon, she's got to flex a little bit. She's got to look for her opportunities, number 34 in black.
There's Goodchild. Feeding Akinbadi James. Offensive foul on Mila Goodchild. Olivia Cochran steps up and takes the charge. We didn't see a lot of Cochran in the first half, only played 3 minutes because she picked up 2 fouls.
Well, you've got Cochran that got a lot of rest in that first half, and then Emily Inksler, she went to the bench too with those 2 fouls, so they're well rested coming out of the locker room for this 3rd quarter.
Haley Van Lith had 9 points in the first half for Louisville.
And Duke in this 2-3 zone.
Chelsea Hall elevates. Hall's offense has been better. They're getting contributions from the bench. It's multiple people for Louisville.
When you have a point guard that's also looking to score, then and the opponent starts to recognize she's going to take shots, that will open up things for everybody else.
Mila Goodchild. First points for Goodchild.
Yeah, Goodchild's got to look for her shooting opportunities.
That's her 10th consecutive game with a 3-pointer.
Look, she shoots 38% from 3.
The 10th on the Duke's career threes list. Goodchild runs into Inksler. Akinbadi James just had the ball taken away by Inksler.
Inksler, she just impacts the game in so many different ways. Now, one of the adjustments that Duke had against Virginia Virginia was giving Duke a lot of problems with the ball screen, and Kara Lawson switched up, went to some ball handoff action.
Little backdoor for Lexi Gordon.
And when you know a defensive team is going to be up and trying to deny passing lanes, you've got to look for those backdoor cuts.
Ingsler's shot rolls out. Transition opportunity for Duke. Akinbody James rolling to the basket. Foul on Ingsler.
Duke is finding opportunities to score. You see Haley Van Lith up in the passing lane, so Lexi Gordon gets her on the back door. And then in the middle of the floor, the two-man game, that is a very deadly weapon you can have because there's really nowhere for the defense to rotate in to help.
Anome Akinbody James at the free throw line, a 62% free throw shooter. It's a 7-0 run right now for the Blue Devils. And Jane Williams will check in, replacing Akinbody James.
And does Duke have in them a little bit of NC State? Remember that fourth quarter when those two teams met? Was turnovers, and NC State was able to capitalize. Can Duke do the same thing?
Yeah, Louisville won't forget that fourth quarter. They had the game won if they had just stopped before the fourth quarter started.
And Jeff Walls called for it because there was an ice storm coming through Kentucky.
At halftime. He was talking to Holly Rowe and said, I don't feel that great. If we could just end the game right now, that would be better.
He said he was all about safety.
Yeah, you see the first three quarters for Louisville against NC State, and then that fourth quarter gave up 31 points.
Yeah, NC State got red hot. Diamond Johnson hit that three from the top, and it was like the lid came off the top and everything started going in.
It helped they had the crowd behind them, too. They were playing at NC State. It was incredible to watch on TV.
There's a lot to be said about home court advantage.
It is now a 9-0 run for Duke. Pass was deflected.
Rotation's been really good for Duke defensively.
Chelsea Hall from the elbow.
I'm sure Beth Cunningham talked to her team after talking to Kara Lawson by phone, but said, look, you don't have to get it all back at once. Just take it one possession at a time.
Cheyenne Day Wilson. She's the ACC Freshman of the Week. Taking it into her own hands, she's the only player for Duke in double figures.
And Duke has cut it to 9 points right now.
Kiana Smith ends a 230-plus scoring drought for Louisville. So now Vanessa De Jesus sets things up. This is Lexi Gordon. Good child travel.
And when you're facing a zone, you don't have to just settle for the three-point shot, but get the ball inside, get the post to touch, and then cut. Don't just stand on the perimeter and watch, and that's exactly what Kiana Williams did. You get more paint points for the Louisville Cardinal.
Outscoring Duke in the paint 18-10. This is Mikasa Robinson. Jade Williams on the foul. That's her first.
Team second. Checking in for Duke number 4, Elizabeth Balagoon. She replaces Gordon.
Balagoon in now number 4 in that black jersey for Duke.
And Balagoon also needs to get involved offensively.
Ingsler off the window. Balagoon, you mentioned she's 1 for 5 from the field, but she averages almost 11 points per game. Off of the foot of Mikasa Robinson.
And how can Balagoon get involved? Well, she can go to the glass, get offensive rebound, and create more possessions for your team.
Now, Duke only has 3 offensive rebounds today. Fouls on Liz Dixon. Hey, there is an X factor for Louisville, and it's that young lady right there, Mikasa Robinson. More on her when we come back. Louisville wouldn't be what it is without Mikasa Robinson. She had a season-high 9 points in their last game. But look, her teammates know it, her coaches know it. She's an X factor for the Cardinals.
She's a great player. She's been playing with them for 4 years now. But I genuinely think that we're not going to a Final Four without her on this team. And the little things that she does, the big things that she does, it all makes a difference in the game. And whenever whenever a team comes back on us, if you really look into these games, it's Mikasa getting a steal, or it's Mikasa getting an and-one. And it's time for her to get recognized for it.
It's pretty powerful words coming from your teammate, who's a pretty good player herself.
That is the highest praise when a player that's a starter recognizes you can't get to a Final Four without a player at spark you have coming off the bench.
Now she's on the floor right now. You'll oftentimes see her guarding the opponent's best player. Liz Dixon going to the free throw line. There's a great two-part feature on Louisville's Twitter called Becoming Mikasa Robinson, where they take a deeper look. You hear from more of her teammates. You hear from the coaching staff. She talks about, going to the gym with her mom at 5:30 in the mornings when she was in high school to work on her game, work on every part so that she could have an impact no matter what role.
Look, she's from the state of Kentucky. Now, it's a little bit closer to Lexington even.
Ooh.
But she came on up the road to Louisville, and before that Louisville-Kentucky game, Jeff Walls, he went to her, he said, we're going to do everything we can because you've never lost to Kentucky. We're going to make sure that we keep that a perfect slate, and that's exactly what they did.
Now, she was an all-ACC defensive team selection last season, and Jeff Walls told us every night she is going to give you steals, deflections, and effort. I know that. And Elizabeth Balagoon with the double dribble.
Mikasa Robinson ran into a screen set by Balagoon. She got shaken a little bit, but she's tough as nails. She has bounced right back. I don't know who was guarding Balagoon, but whoever was, Mikasa Robinson needs to remind her teammate, hey, let me know when the screen is there.
Yeah, she was holding her side there for a second, bringing the ball up the court. Inside to Dixon. Back out to Haley Van Lith.
That's what Duke wants, okay? So they got to stop on the missed shot, but they finished it with getting the rebound.
And as Day Wilson drives to the basket, she gets the foul called on Haley Van Lith, her second.
Checking in for the Blue Devils, number 34, Lexi Gordon.
Yeah, the key for Duke to get themselves back in this ball game is they've got to get back-to-back stops and then be efficient on the offensive end.
DeJesus will set it up.
You've got Emily Angsler guarding Day Wilson.
Jade Williams holding the basketball, looking for help. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Oh, Lexi Gordon just shot-putted that into the basket.
However it goes in, whatever, style points don't count.
Kiana Smith answers baseline.
Louisville patient with moving the basketball to get it out of the corner back to the top, and as the defense is shifting, went right back to the same side.
It's going to be a blocking foul on Emily Angsler. You can see her frustration because that is her 4th foul.
That's important with Angsler having to go to the bench with 3 minutes left in the third. She's only got one foul to play with for the 4th.
Well, she's got 6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. It puts Vanessa De Jesus at the free throw line. De Jesus 2 for 4 on the season. Haley Van Lith will check out too, and Duke will make a substitution as well. Akambani James back in.
Well, they go with Akambani James because she's more that back to the basket. She's got that size advantage inside.
Oh, first one rolls out. Here is our big Monday doubleheader. Two of the top teams in the ACC getting us started. Number 9 Duke taking on Notre Dame at 7 Eastern. And then number 4 Baylor looking to rebound against West Virginia. Both games right here on the ESPN app. Both shots don't go by De Jesus.
Duke had A.J. Griffin 5 for 5 from the three-point line for Duke. And then they've got the super freshman in Paolo Banchero. A lot of conversation of who's going first in the NBA draft. Is it him? Is it Jabari Smith? Is it going to be Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga?
Yeah, and they were here playing Louisville yesterday. A pretty good crowd inside the Yum Center, too. Lexi Gordon is at the free throw line as Verhulst was called for her first foul. Duke has outscored Louisville here in the third quarter, 15-10.
Well, Duke has extended that matchup zone. And unless Louisville really has gotten the ball inside, really struggled to score from the perimeter.
That one bounces off the back of the iron. Yeah, Louisville hasn't hit a 3 since the first half, and they had 8 of them. Armbar called on Alana Smith, her second foul.
Look, Duke is staying aggressive, and as long as you have Day Wilson going off the bounce, you've got players that are getting to the free throw line because they're in the bonus right now.
Duke has taken 12 free throws. They've hit 8 of them. That's 67% from the charity stripe. They're showing the replay of the foul on the Jumbotron inside the Yum Center.
And that's a Jumbotron in the literal sense.
Yeah, Jumbotron.
That's a big picture.
Day Wilson has 13 points.
You see Duke building confidence in their zone and a little bit of less confidence from Louisville on the perimeter.
And the steal by Day Wilson. Layup high off the window. Duke has trailed by as many as 20 in this game. They trailed by 18 at the half.
Day Wilson gets the steal, and then, look, she goes in. Thought there was some contact. No call. Look, don't worry about it. Just get back, play defense. One stop, then score. Get your team right back in this ball game.
And Day Wilson will take a seat. She just picked up her third foul. She leads Duke right now with 15 points, shooting 50% from the field. It was almost a turnover by Louisville. Olivia Cochran. Lexi Gordon in the air, whistled for her second.
Lexi Gordon gambled a little bit. That was a headsy play by Verhulst, just to know, look, don't catch it, tap it.
And Peyton Verhulst, the freshman at the free throw line, getting more minutes today. .10 points for Verhulst now. The 4th time this season she's been in double figures. This is a big game for her. Her mom, Robin, played at Duke back in the late 80s, early 90s.
I wonder what that conversation was like before the game today.
Yeah.
Mom say, hey, take it easy on my team. She didn't do it.
Peyton Verhulst, 10 points. Jeff Walls likes her in the rotation, wanted to use her more and has today, and she's been an impact player. They just called a foul on Kiana Smith, her 3rd, and the crowd doesn't like it. Obviously, it's a Louisville crowd. It puts Mila Goodchild at the free throw line.
Look, Jeff Walls doesn't like it either. He does not like to see his team foul, and especially that's how Duke is cutting back into this game. Getting into the bonus and then getting to the free throw line.
Here come the Blue Devils, Lee Volker. Lexi Gordon, yeah, shoot it. Minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
The threes were followed for Louisville in the first half. Not so much in this 3rd quarter.
Out of gas right now. They had 8 threes in the first half, none here in the second. Eight seconds on the shot clock. Goodchild trying to step around Verhulst.
Jeff Walls directing traffic.
Verhulst step back. Boom! Verhulst played 1 minute in their last game. She's got 13 points today.
When Jeff Walls dials it up, orders it up, the freshman delivers for Louisville.
We want to take you back to that last play from Louisville, the 3 from Peyton Verhulst. Jeff Walls calling this up from the sidelines.
Well, he wanted to extend the lead, and he called it for Peyton Verhulst, who's number 12 at the top. After the ball screen, DeJesus comes too much with the ball, and it gives Verhulst just enough time. The clock was running down, under 7-8 seconds, and the freshman hit a big bucket to extend the lead back up for the Cardinals.
Peyton Verhulst, a freshman, a career-high 13 points, 3 for 4 from behind the arc. You could tell that wasn't the first time they've been through that situation.
All right, coaches, you have to prepare for situations of not just end of game, but end of quarters, especially to send a message to your opponents who have continually made runs and just won't go away like Duke has.
Yeah, and Duke outscored Louisville in the 3rd quarter, 20-15. That's the 3rd on Alana Smith. Duke trailed by as many as 20. They have cut it to 9 here in the second half at one point. Cheyenne Day Wilson at the free throw line after the foul called on Alana Smith.
Well, the crowd saw a replay on the big screen. Let's take a look at it. I mean, barely. Alana Smith did catch her on the elbow. A touch is a touch. The officials call it.
No Emily Ingsler on the floor right now for Louisville. She's on the bench with 4 fouls. Haley Van Lith, 9 points, but all of them came in the first quarter. And they call carrying on Van Lith.
I thought that was a hesitation dribble.
They don't know about the hezi?
Look, as long as her hand didn't go underneath the basketball. And Balagoon's got to get going for Duke. She's got to look for ways to score. Don't need her to be a distributor.
The ball is going to be last touched by Duke. It will be Louisville basketball. Going back to Balagoon, just 2 points, 1 of 5 from the field.
Yeah, Louisville was most successful against this zone when they got post touches. Makes the defense shift.
Alana Smith. Mikasa Robinson rebound.
Yeah, I'd go right inside to Olivia Cochran, and she should go to work.
Using that power underneath.
Yeah, I don't believe that Jade Williams one-on-one can guard Cochran.
The problem is Cochran played limited minutes because she's been in foul trouble. She had 2 early on in this game. Count the bucket for Elizabeth Balagoon.
Did you see this pass from the freshman, Day Wilson? Very rarely do you see a bounce pass from in the air. She'd already left the floor and then dropped the bounce pass inside for Balagoon.
Now, Day Wilson is going to be a special player. She already is a special player. Number 41 overall in her class, the number 1 point guard coming out of Canada. Mikasa Robinson called for her first foul.
Kara Lawson talks about her development. It's very similar to Kara's career at Tennessee. Kara was moved into the starting lineup in January as a freshman, the same as Shy-Day Wilson. And Wilson has handled it. She's grown, and Kara Lawson has allowed her to play through some mistakes so that she keeps the confidence that she's played with coming in off the bench.
Yeah, this is her 5th straight game in the starting lineup. She moved into the lineup after Celeste Taylor went out with an injury against Syracuse. Day Wilson. Little sidestep 3.
Oh, and then kiss the fingers after the shot.
Fancy.
I like the moxie of this freshman.
20 points for Cheyenne Day Wilson.
Check out the freshman, Day Wilson. Step, give space, knock it down. A little crossover into it, then the side step to the right. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
It's got to be helpful when your coach has been in a similar situation. You see her season average and her points today. She's getting better and better as the season goes along because she's learning from Kara Lawson, who was a point guard, as you mentioned. And she specifically remembered her first game starting when we talked to her today at point guard for Tennessee.
Yeah, Kara said in her first game for Tennessee, it was against Kentucky. She thought she had 5 turnovers in the first half. She said, Pat Summitt left me in. She said that Day Wilson had a similar start, her first starting role, and let her play through it. Look how it's paying off. She is in the fight and playing with tremendous composure.
Emily Ingsler back in the game for Louisville with 4 fouls. Kiana Smith right under the basket.
Okay, but I don't understand how you get 2 passes made in the paint and there's not a 3-second.
Oh, that's a great point.
Thank you. That's why I said it.
Nailed it. Ingsler in the corner by herself.
I believe 7 points is the closest that Duke has been.
Duke trailed by 20. It's getting close late in this ball game. Duke looking to pull the upset on Jeff Walls and his number 5 Cardinals.
They called a 10-second backcourt. Day Wilson didn't get the ball across half court in 10 seconds.
Haley Van Lith, her first point since the first quarter when she had 9. Louisville back up by 10 thanks to Van Lith.
If you want to get the crowd back into it, call on Van Lith from the corner, extends it back to 10.
Wally for the win. National champion.
Dynasty fulfills its destiny.
A great upset in history.
March Madness right around the corner. This game is important for Louisville. Charlie Cream has them as a #1 seed. Charlie says if they win, they're going to hold that #1 seed. But if they lose, there's a chance they could slip. It depends on what Arizona does against Stanford. They're in a tight battle right now. But right now it's South Carolina, NC State, Stanford, and Louisville are those #1 seeds according to Charlie Cream. Tennessee was a #1 seed when the committee made their reveal on Thursday, but has since lost to Auburn.
It was a big surprise for Auburn. They got an offensive foul
The offensive foul
on DeJesus.
Elizabeth Balagoon, her first. Team first in the fourth quarter.
But Louisville, Jeff Walls always has them in the hunt. And the biggest reason is that I don't think anybody wants to play Louisville because of the defense that they play. And I asked him, because I remember last season defensively, he'll even change the style of defense that they're playing within a possession. He said, but he saves those tricks, a little bit of those for the postseason.
And they're 4-2 against ranked teams. Inksler, another bucket.
And what does Jeff Walls do? Extend the defense. He wants to, your team got a little bit more concerned about the offense. He gets your mind trained or tricked back into defense. That's where your priority has to be.
Duke trying to stop a 7-0 run by Louisville.
Second is the Blue Devils, number 15.
Just moving the basketball, patient, and having Emily Inksler back on the court. That's key for Louisville.
Duke trailed by 18 at the half. They've trailed by as many as 20 in this game.
19 assists already for the Louisville Cardinals.
Possession to the Cardinals.
Going back to their tournament, I asked Jeff Walls yesterday, what is it that has to continue or has to improve for you to make a deep run when it comes tournament time? He says we have to keep defending the way we are consistently.
Yeah, you look at the teams that do. You look at what Texas did last season. Vic Schaefer's team pulling the upset. Louisville's always going to do that as well. The defense is something that they will always have in their bag.
Yeah, one of the tops in the nation. We will step aside. Louisville up 69-57, under 5 to go here in the Yum Center.
These players better be ready for a fight.
I've been a very lucky guy.
Nothing better than Duke and Carolina.
We see Celeste Taylor over on the Duke bench. She has missed the last 6 games due to injury that she suffered against Syracuse. And you see the 13 games with her and the 5 games without her, not including today. The numbers are different, and she makes a big impact.
Well, those are offensive numbers, but I think one of the biggest impacts Celeste Taylor has is on the defensive side, getting steals, deflections that then lead to the offense for the Duke Blue Devils.
They do think she'll be able to come back this season. Transferred in from Texas, one of 7 transfers on Duke's roster. She would be big time in the postseason for this Duke team, who is projected as a number 7 seed right now by Charlie Cream, as Mila Goodchild from the corner.
Duke keeps flirting with 9 point, 7 point, 5 point. They're right in striking distance.
They've been as close as 5 points here in the second half. Kiana Smith threw the ball away. 13th turnover by Louisville. Dave Wilson, the acrobatic shot.
And all that contact, no foul? Wow. Wow. That's going to get the freshman fired up even more.
Dave Wilson with 24 points.
See, everything for Louisville has been around the perimeter.
Haley Van Lith likes it.
Now that's the one right there needs to take a shot.
When Louisville hit 70 or more points last 3 seasons, they have not lost. That's the 5th on Ingsler. 8 points for Emily Ingsler, 5 rebounds. 2 blocks and 3 steals. You can see she's frustrated. She impacts the game in so many different ways for Louisville. That is huge to not have her for the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Well, the way that Peyton Verhulst has been playing, I think Louisville's okay. They have to go to the freshman.
Kiana Smith on the break to the free throw line.
Number 2, Minnesota Hazers for second, team third.
Olivia Cochran. Dave Wilson's getting a lot of contact as she tries to attack the paint.
DeJesus called for her second to put Kiana Smith at the free throw line, drops it in. What a Big 12 SEC Super Tuesday doubleheader we have for you on ESPN and the app. Number 5 Kansas squaring off against number 23 Iowa State at 7 Eastern. The number 1 Auburn. Heck, you got to see them yesterday. 17 straight wins as they host rival Alabama at Auburn Arena.
7-footer Walker Kessler was a shot blocking phenom in their win over Oklahoma.
And had 21 points to go along with that.
Yeah, Jeff Walls has gone with 4 guards and 1 post, really to match up defensively.
And the pressure gets to Duke. Mila Goodchild called for the travel.
Now on the other side with the 4 guards, yes, you have perimeter threats. You also have the ability to take it off the bounce. What you don't have is the size rebounding-wise. Well, and Jeff Wall's just using the clock. Duke can't let this much time come off the clock. They need every second to get themselves back in this game.
That goes out off of Duke. It will be Louisville ball, 6 seconds on the shot clock. And Jeff Walls is going to call a timeout. He told us he feels really comfortable with this group drawing up something over on the sideline they can execute very well.
Well, the one thing that he talked about with this team is that they are intelligent enough basketball-wise that he understands what they're talking about. When he draws something up, they can, because usually it's an adjustment of something they've already run, but it's a little tweak that Jeff has in his back pocket. And so I expect the same with 6 seconds left to go out of this underneath out of bounds.
And if you're the Duke defense, it's going to be tough because Louisville is a pretty balanced offense. They have so many weapons. It's not like you can lock down one player and be okay.
But the thing about it is you got to talk about 6 seconds. You just have to play defense for 6 seconds if you're Duke. So you want to try to get a 5-second call. You've got to be disciplined. You don't want to gamble and get run out of the play, but you've got to have tremendous communication, switching on screens. You don't want to give Louisville anything easy like a wide over layup because you took a gamble.
So both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. You see Day Wilson, 24 points, 2 away from her career high. She had 26 earlier this season against Troy. She has been spectacular and helped Duke stay in this after they've trailed by 20.
If I'm Duke, I'm taking away Haley Van Lith and I'm taking away Olivia Cochran. Make somebody else score the basketball in these 6 seconds.
They throw it up for Cochran. And now 5 seconds on the shot clock. No, Duke ball. Day Wilson guarded by Mikasa Robinson. It's going to be an offensive foul on Jade Williams.
The official felt like Jade Williams' stance was a little too broad. See how wide her feet are, and she took an extra step out wide. That's why she's called for the offensive foul.
So Duke can't waste any time. Do you pressure? Do you foul? What happens? I know there's under 2 minutes left.
You've got to pressure. You can't stay in this zone because if you do, Louisville's going to do this right here. They're going to use the full 30 seconds in the shot clock. Like, you've got to try to trap. You've got to try to play monkey in the middle. You have got to try to set up traps and then steal out of those traps.
Rebound, Mikasa Robinson. Foul on the floor called.
And are you surprised? A player that needs to make a big play, late shot clock, clock's running down. Robinson's the one that gets the offensive rebound.
And we told you she is their X factor. Cheyenne Day Wilson was called for her 4th foul. Robinson misses the first. Monday, the tournament, a history of ACC men's basketball, premieres over on the ACC Network with the first 2 episodes of this 10-part documentary at 9 and 10 Eastern. That's tomorrow on the ACC Network.
Now Duke's got to go quick.
And Day Wilson takes a hard foul by Olivia Cochran, but she was going quick right to the basket.
Well, she's got to. You either got to get a quick shot opportunity or you've got to get yourself to the basket, get a layup, or get to the free throw line.
Cochran called for her 3rd.
At the line, for the Blue Devils, number 30, Dave Wilson will shoot 2. Into the game for Duke, number 4, Elizabeth Balagoon.
Elizabeth Balagoon will check in. Cheyenne Day Wilson, the leading scorer, leading all scorers in this game with 24 points. Cochran comes out, Liz Dixon in the game for Louisville.
And that's one of the things that Rebecca Lobo talked in studio about is the depth that Louisville has. So they can play hard defensively because they've got the rotations in, and when they rotate to their bench, they don't lose anything offensively or defensively.
Day Wilson was 8 for 8 from the free throw line before that miss. Got the second one.
Yeah, you can't just let them inbound it. Defensively, Duke's got to try to get that steal or get a 5-second call, because right now the clock is totally in favor of Louisville.
Kiana Smith for 3. Louisville gets it back. Mikasa Robinson off the fingertips of Liz Dixon.
If we have 1 minute left in the game. Timeout 2, a 30-second timeout.
Duke's going to take a timeout here, down 75-63. Louisville led by 18 at the half. We've seen Duke get as close as 5 here in the second half. Haley Van Lith leading the way for Louisville. She's got 15 points on 50% shooting.
She's 5 for 8 from the 3-point line. Look, little inside-out action. Van Lith has made herself available. And look, she's taking her time. The patience on her shot, not rushed. And 5 for 8, that's tremendous for the Cardinals today.
And she didn't panic when she had all 9 of her points in the first quarter, didn't score again until the fourth quarter. 15 points now for her, and you mentioned 5 threes. Her career high is 6 threes, by the way.
You still got time.
Yeah. So Duke basketball here.
Now Duke needs to score, and immediately they need to get in a press. And if they score, try to get a 5-second call or go for the steal.
Offensive foul. Guess who steps up to take the charge? Mikasa Robinson. As Day Wilson drives in.
We ran the clip from Emily Anxler that talked about when teams make runs, if they try to come at Louisville, who is it that makes the big plays? And it's number 5, Mikasa Robinson.
And that's the 5th foul on Cheyenne Day Wilson, who has had a tremendous game, 25 points, 9 of 10 from the free throw line.
I'm going to tell you, that young freshman, she left it on the court. She gave everything that she had, and that's a great day. 25 points against this aggressive defense of Louisville, that's saying something.
It's going to be fun to watch her continue to grow. It's already just this season we've seen her taking big steps for Duke.
I mean, you're looking at freshmen across the country, and in talking to Carol Austin this morning, she said she felt like Cheyenne Day Wilson is the best freshman in the country.
So they're looking at the last play to see if there was anything extra involved in that last play.
I just think Mikasa Robinson was trying to protect herself as Day Wilson was falling to the floor. I don't see anything extra. Basketball play, and Mikasa Robinson just trying to protect herself.
Looking at it again, is that an offensive foul?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Mikasa Robinson did a terrific job of
As
getting
reviewed, the
vertical.
call is confirmed. Offensive foul. The basket does not count because the foul occurred prior to the release.
The foul, I'm confused because the defense. Oh, so
Well, it's an offensive foul.
right. So no bucket.
Right.
I got it.
Yes.
I got it. But was it the right call? Yes. Mikasa Robinson did a terrific job. She rotated over. She was outside the restricted area. She obtained correct defensive position, hands straight up, and absorbed the contact.
Now Duke's got to do something
Well,
to get the ball back.
They got a foul. I mean, if you're just trying to defend it out, and it looks like Duke has just conceded because they're not doing that, not bringing a trap.
Van Lith banks it in. They're going to look at the monitor right now.
The player's on review for a timing error.
They're going to check the clock.
After review, the game clock will be reset to 27.6.
So they reset the clock again. This is an important game for Louisville. Watching them play, you think they're a 1 seed in the tournament?
Absolutely, I do.
So does Charlie Cream.
Well, yeah, they'd already established themselves with the defense, but the balance, and especially Haley Van Lith finding her shot back, the emergence of Emily Anxler. You've got a lockdown or a really post presence in Olivia Cochran. Chelsea Hall looking for her shot today. They're balanced at all 5 spots on the floor.
Yeah, it seems like that offense is getting a little bit more consistent as this season goes on for Jeff Walls. Meanwhile, you look at this Duke team, Charlie Cream projects them as a number 7 seed. He has 8 ACC teams in right now. That's tied for the most. He also has 8 SEC teams in the tournament.
And I think that Duke will ascend before the season is over. Number 1, they'll have their coach back.
Right.
And then number 2, they're hopeful that they get Celeste Taylor back after having players that have been in and out for health and safety protocol. Maybe they've been through that stretch, and consistency could definitely help Duke.
There's Celeste Taylor, the transfer from Texas, was their leading rebounder, averaging also 11 points per game to go along with the team leading 6.1 rebounds per game. It's a huge loss.
Leading rebounder from the guard spot.
Love it.
I do too.
You love to see it.
Yes, she is a gritty player. She's one of those players defensively that when she was at Texas, she did the same thing. She reads help side tremendously well. She's able to get there in rotation, draw charges, get deflections. So having her back will be a huge asset for the Duke Blue Devils.
Elizabeth Balagoon off the side of the backboard. Volker. And Jade Williams with the putback. But this is Louisville's game. Their largest lead was 20 points as Haley Van Lith trying to put an exclamation point on it, but Louisville still undefeated at home, and they pick up a 5th ranked win this season.